guys. So I have two stories I want to share with you today, and they're about 4 years apart. But once I explain to you what happened, you're going to see a similarity. So 4 years ago or so, for whatever reason, who knows, I had my heart set on a baby goat. I wanted a miniature baby goat so bad. So I told my cousin, we were laughing about it. I sent her a picture. I Googled goats. I sent her a picture of exactly the little goat I wanted. I was at church one night and I was talking, this was after church, I was talking to the pastor's daughter, and we were just laughing, and I was telling her what I wanted. And it was about, probably about 10:30, I think it was about 10:30 at night, because after church I stayed and we just hung around talking and stuff. So anyway, 10:30 at night, I'm driving home, and I live out in the country, so, I was going down a kind of a quiet road, and all of a sudden, I noticed something in the road, and so I slowed down, and I got a little bit closer, and I started to kind of pull over a little bit, but when my headlights hit it, it was a baby goat. It was a goat. So I stopped the car right in the middle of the road. There's nothing coming. I could see for far. And I get out of the car, and the goat looked exactly like the picture that I had shown my cousin of, if I could have a goat, this is what I would want it to look like. The goat was exactly like the picture. So I pick up the baby goat, and I'm like, what am I going to do? So I get in the car, I've got the goat in my lap, and I drove up to a house. I know, it's great, I know. But, oh God, I didn't know what to do. Somebody's goat. And there were at least like 3 houses on the sides of the road. They had little driveways, but I was like, where did this goat come from? So I drove up to the first house, and I could hear kids playing or something. And I'm knocking on the door, and I'm holding this goat, and nobody came to the door. And they're probably like, who is this crazy person at 10:30 at night knocking on our door? So I left the house, and I was like, I'm not going to go to all these different houses. I'm just going to take him home. So I come home, and the next day I went back to where it was, and I went in. There was like this little store, and I was like, does anybody know anybody who's lost a goat? I found this goat in the middle of the road last night, and nobody had a clue. Like, nobody knew. So I was like, well, okay, I'm going to keep the goat. And I didn't feel like I was stealing it, because I was trying to find an owner. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So I brought him back home, and I named him Moses. And what ended up happening is my aunt took the goat back to that neighborhood and found where he belonged and everything. But for that moment in time, I had my baby goat. And the thing, though, in between that, when I had the goat, reality sat in, and I was like, what am I going to do with a goat? I have nowhere to put him. And that was before I had my chickens, but I have 2 dogs that I wouldn't really trust with an animal like that or whatever. I had no pen to put him in, so I went to Walmart and I bought one of those little dog kennels to at least keep him in until I could figure out where to put him and everything. But it became a real headache. And I was like, Lord, I wanted this goat so bad, and you gave it to me. You even gave me the exact little face that I asked for. But now I realized that I really couldn't keep a goat. And God knew that. He knew that. And He knew I'd figure it out. But He heard me when I had a desire. He heard that. So, like I said, my aunt got the goat and they found, whatever, but I have pictures of him, and, that was my little Moses, and he was my gift from God. Whether or not I could keep him, it didn't matter. God gave him to me. All right. So now, about a month ago, a coworker of mine, she had a cat. She loved this cat. Well, something happened to the cat, and the cat died. So she started, at first, she didn't want another cat. She was so hurt, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. So as weeks went by, as time went by, she started coming to work saying, I really want a new kitten. And she explained, she's like, she knew exactly kind of what age she wanted. She knew what kind, kind of what kind she wanted. And her biggest concern was being able to train the cat and have it being loving and not, scared and, having accidents everywhere. But she knew exactly what she wanted, and she started coming to work every day, going on and on. I want a cat, I want a cat, I want this, I want it like this, this, this. All right. So for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I had it on my heart, in my mind. I never said nothing to her. I wanted to help her find a kitten. It was like, I don't know, it was so important to me to help her replace her kitten. So I never prayed about it. I never told anybody. It was just this little thing that I kept in my heart. I'm going to find her a kitten. And one night, I came home from work, and it was like almost 11 o'clock at night. So, and every night that I come home from work, I go outside and I check all the chicken coops, and I make sure everybody's okay. And this particular night, that's what I did. And I was out there, and I had my light, and I was looking around. And I went in the shed. I'm checking on. I have one particular chicken that likes to sleep up high in the shed. So I'm looking at Miko, and he's looking back. And I'm like, okay, he's good. And then I turned to leave, and I heard, meow. I was like, what? And I did my light kind of again, and I heard, meow. And my alarms went off because you don't want cats where you got chickens. So I was like, oh no, no, no. There's a cat in my shed, and Miko's right here. And so I put my I started moving stuff, and I'm climbing on top of my stuff, and I've got bales of hay, so I'm climbing up on the hay. And I get to the top, and I look down in the crevice, and there's a kitten. There is a kitten between the wall of the shed and a bale of hay. And I shine my light, and the little kitten looked up at me. Meow. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So the first thing I think of, where does this kitten come from? Where's the mama cat? How many cats are out here? And now I'm a little worried. So I kind of leave the kitten, and I go I looked all around the yard, everywhere. There was no cat, there were no kittens. And this was about a month ago, and I haven't seen any cats or other kittens since this happened. So I made a space, and I got the kitten out, and I took him in the house, and I texted my coworker, and she didn't answer. So the next morning, and that night, I kept the little kitten. I gave him, stuff to eat and drink, and I had a little place for him. And I called her the next morning, and to speed up a little bit, she has the kitten. The kitten has a little collar with a little bell on it. She named it Skylar. This kitten has like the best life ever. And my coworker was amazed because this was exactly the kitten she had wanted, she desired in her heart. So God heard me when I wanted a goat. God heard me without saying a word that I really truly wanted to help my coworker and I wanted to find her a kitten. That showed me beyond a shadow of a doubt. Not only is God not listening, not only does he care, he truly cares for the things that we want or we need or we desire. He's hearing you. And what are the odds at 10:30 at night I'm going to literally find a miniature goat in the road with the exact face on the little picture that I sent my cousin? How am I just going to go outside and find a kitten behind my haystacks? When you think that there is no way, when you think that there's nothing that God can do, there's nothing anybody can do, my situation is hopeless, I've tried everything, what else is there for me? Yeah, maybe I'll pray, but what is God really going to do? Don't doubt him. Don't put limits on him. Sure, I could say, well, why didn't he give me $1 million? Why did he just give me a kitten? I didn't ask him for $1 million. I may not even want $1 million because I don't know how that's going to change me as a person. He knows those things. But we're not talking about that. What I'm clearly basically saying here is don't feel like there's nothing that God can't do. He will make a way when you don't see a possibility for a way. He will bring something out of nothing. He will take a situation and he'll flip it upside down for you. Just believe in him. Just trust him. Just give him a chance to show you what he can and will do for you. You have a good day.